Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is November 25th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see some of the fog across the Puget Sound, some of the Willamette Valley, Eastern Washington, BC, Idaho Panhandle, and Montana this morning. And this is going to be a recurring theme here over the next few days as we watch and wait for the next round of storms to move in off the Pacific Ocean. We'll look at that in some detail in the extended forecast as we go through the video here this morning also. And the moderate sneaker wave risk does exist. Vancouver Island, Washington, Oregon, doesn't matter. Don't turn your back on the ocean. Do not get lulled into a false sense of security with these nice sunny days over the next couple of days here, because those sneaker waves can roll in fast and quickly. And watch out for your pets and your children in the surf zone. Every single year, people get caught by these sneaker waves and they get killed. These logs out there are extremely heavy, so keep that in the back of your mind. This goes on through Sunday afternoon. Maybe it'll get extended into Monday a bit here, but you can see they bring up the details about keeping children and pets away from the surf zone here. Do not be lulled into that false sense of security. High pressure degrading the air quality here over the next few days, especially in wind sheltered valleys. This is National Weather Service, Missoula, Montana, with a nice graphic there. More on that here in a moment. Looking at Seattle yesterday, 32 degrees, pretty chilly this overnight and on into this morning as well. First thing I did was wake up and check my Tempest weather station. It was 30 degrees and a nice coating of frost out there as well. And you can see here the nice smartphone app. You just pop it up and it shows you the temperature at your house. It'll send you notifications, and it's all solar powered and wireless. Stores all the data for you in the cloud. Click on that link down below. I think you might still be able to save 20% off on this station through this weekend. And this is the European. So we're looking at visibility in miles, and you can kind of see as we went through this morning, pretty good job picking up some of the fog on the European, and that kind of burns off during the daytime. We go into tomorrow morning again, rinse and repeat as we go through Sunday morning and on into Monday morning. The fog will continue to return, then one more time here on through Tuesday morning as well, and then we'll be watching for the next Pacific storms to roll in off the ocean at us. Looking at the 100-meter wind speed on the European, Washington, Oregon, you can see the offshore component ongoing. You can get some pretty good gusty winds here across some of the gorge and Stampede Gap, as you can see the offshore winds all the way out across the coastline here. But there's some of these interior valleys also are fairly wind sheltered, so that's going to be worrying about the air degradation out there, I should say. And again, foggy during the morning hours as well, but we do have this offshore flow. It's going to continue on in through the mid portion of the week here coming up before we start to get some systems. One dives down into California initially. But here we go with the European. This is last night's run here. There's that trough associated with some Arctic air that moved down across the lower 48 here and the ridging over top. Next system moves into California. This one's been trending a little bit further south as well, but then we return the storm track at the Pacific Northwest as we go towards the end of this week here. So we still have a few days to figure things out and try to get some more details on these individual systems. But in the extended, it looks like we might turn to a more warmer southwest flow here also, with again the potential for some heavy precipitation or some stronger storms. But again, it's a ways out there, so we take it with a grain of salt. This is Seattle, Tacoma. You can see maybe the arrival of some of that precip as we go on in through Thursday night, maybe Friday morning, but then you can see some stronger, wetter systems showing up. Look at the control run on that, over 3 inches, 3.6 actually showed up on last night's control run for SeaTac in a 24-hour period. You know, that's probably going to go away or change, but you can see a pretty good signal there for a pretty wet period coming up on through the early portion of next week. Here's Astoria, something similar there as well. Few dry days in the meantime. And now we're looking at the Pacific Ocean. There's Japan to the left. There's Hawaii. There's Alaska. There's Washington here. So as we roll into the future a little bit here, we got the ridging going on over top of us. System dives down towards California here, and then we start to return this more active jet stream at the Pacific Northwest. And this is this morning's GFS hot off the presses. You can see this would be a pretty potent system marching right at the Pacific Northwest. In fact, let's update that because I think we have more data by now. And there we go. There's that system, and you can see it approach the Pacific Northwest there. And then that jet extended towards us here, potentially bringing further systems as we go on in towards the weekend. But again, we have time to watch that, but it looks like an uptrend in the storm activity here for us. This is Tillamook on the Oregon coast there, and you can see some big wind speeds intermixed there. Look at that one. Control run number 4, or actually Ensemble run number 4, 78 miles per hour. They're pretty impressive. And you can kind of see these bigger windstorm intermixed in this time period here coming up through later this upcoming weekend into the early portion of next week. Seattle, Tacoma, again, something similar, some bigger windstorms mixed in here. And I grabbed this one here. So this is a 60-mile-per-hour gust here on Ensemble member number 22. And the cool thing is that we can grab each one of these Ensemble members and watch them run out. These are individual model runs that show all their data. And here we go. There's number 22. You can see I clicked on it there, and you can see that windstorm that would bring those 60-mile-per-hour winds here. Powerful load just bearing into British Columbia with the big-time pressure gradient on the south side of that. Purely fantasy for now. Purely entertainment only, but yeah, it's always kind of fun to watch those individual Ensemble members and what they have in mind for our future. Now, looking at the European, this is last night's run. A wider view of things here is BC. There's Washington, Oregon. And you can see we're going to be dry here. Here we go on into a Monday afternoon. Here we go to Tuesday afternoon. And we go on into Wednesday afternoon. System moves down through California. But finally, by Thursday morning, we get a weak front approaching the coastline. Looks like it's going to impact mainly Oregon and Northern California as of right now. We'll continue to watch this as this front kind of is dying by the time it gets to the coastline. But then a stronger frontal system rolls through here on the day Friday night. And you can see some potent low pressure systems trying to dive in here as well as we push on in towards the weekend and the early portion of next week. Pretty interesting atmospheric river signals showing up at times as well in some of these model runs. So interesting stuff potentially coming up here. Cross your fingers if you like stormy weather here in the Pacific Northwest. Here's total precipitation on the European as of last night as well, or yesterday afternoon, I should say. But I'm just going to scroll through here pretty quick, and you can kind of see the wet picture it shows. We're not going to get caught up in the details too much, but pretty wet scenarios showing up here in some of the European model runs. And you see the typical rain shadowing here for eastern portions of Washington and Oregon and British Columbia. Now, looking at Stampede Pass, you can clearly see the potential return for some snowfall. Don't want to get caught up in details too much yet, but just showing we have a few days to go before that possibility returns. And Whistler, same thing there as well. And just a reminder, this is in centimeters. Now, looking at 6 to 10 day precipitation, you can see we are above average as we go through the end of the month here in towards November 4th. And then December 4th. So now this is December 2nd through December 8th here, and you can see the above average signal here for a lot of the Pacific Northwest also. And if you missed this one here, we did improve. We don't have any more extreme drought here across the Pacific Northwest. Good news, we are improving. This little dry spell doesn't help too much, but it looks like if we start getting wet, what the models are showing here, we are going to definitely improve on this as we go through December also. So keep your fingers crossed for that. Experimental product here, this updates again, and you can see slight potential here for those atmospheric rivers. We got wind potential as well, and we've got even some risk of heavy snow here across some of the Cascades down through California and some of the Rocky Mountains there also. But anyway, yeah, hopefully it was a nice sunrise out there this morning too. Hopefully you guys caught some of that, but you can see some of that fog out there. You can see some of the snow just starting to peek out here on the GOES 18 satellite imagery as the sun's rays start to expose them. But yeah, interesting stuff here. I'm getting a little bit excited about the extended forecast here. We'll see how this turns out. We'll continue to watch day by day, try to get some model agreement here, and try to work out the timing of some of those individual systems as we go, as always. So hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.